First up, let's start with some breaking updates. The Indian Youth Congress legal cell files a plea in Supreme Court over ban on BBC documentary on Modi. Plea terms center using emergency provisions to trample constitutional rights. So that's the breaking update that we are getting. The Indian Youth Congress now filing a plea before the Supreme Court over ban on BBC documentary. It says center using emergency provisions to trample constitutional rights. In fact, it says the constitutional and grossly illegal ban by central government on the BBC documentary on Narendra Modi using emergency provisions under the Concerned Act, which touches upon the very basic constitutional and fundamental rights and guarantees. So that's the breaking update that we are getting. Yet another plea which is in connection to the BBC documentary. The Indian Youth Congress legal cell filing a plea in the Apex Court over the ban. In fact, the plea term center using emergency provisions to trample constitutional rights, the constitutional, unconstitutional and grossly illegal ban by central government on BBC documentary on Indian Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi using emergency provisions under the Concerned Act, which touches upon the very basic constitutional and fundamental rights and guarantees. So this is what the piece states. In fact, yet another plea before the Apex Court in connection to the BBC documentary. In fact, a plea terming center using emergency provisions to trample constitutional rights. So Youth Congress wing approaching Supreme Court over BBC documentary ban. In fact, a plea term center using emergency provisions to trample constitutional rights. So this is not the first time that parties have approached the Apex Court in connection with the ban on a BBC documentary. Yet another plea that has been filed, and this time by the Indian Youth Congress legal cell. So Congress upping the ante over BBC documentary ban, and the Indian Youth Congress filing this plea in the Supreme Court. Let's go to Harish on the story. Harish, yet another plea before the Apex Court in connection with the BBC documentary ban. Take us through the details of this fresh plea and what are the prayers as far as the plea is concerned.